be right now.
Right. All right. Well, let's move along. There's just something real quick. We won't spend a whole lot of time on this. I thought this was cool, though. Bill Huber put this tweet out. Quote, I think really what I ran into most of my career is everybody wants me to do everything as opposed to letting me get really good at one thing first. This was a quote from Isaiah Simmons, the newly acquired linebacker. Now, listen, I'm not expecting Isaiah Simmons to come out and be a Pro Bowler, right? But I love that what Bill Huber pointed out here was, hey, it's a 1 year prove it deal, first of all. And what Bill Huber points out is what Isaiah Simmons was saying. With the Packers, Isaiah Simmons is happy to be focusing on playing linebacker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, not trying to force him to do too much. Now, we mentioned multiple times, it's nice to have a player that if you do get somehow, some way in a pinch, you can throw him back to safety, right? You can let him rush off the edge a little bit if you're a little bit light, if you have, 2 or 3 injuries in one game, that type of thing. But it's obviously not a part of the original game plan. Now, I'll say this too, like most of the viewers last night were pointing out, man, the safety room is real deep. I think it was Holmes pointing it out, maybe Deadfish. The safety room is so deep, you ain't even got to worry about that. We're really 5 deep at safety. That doesn't mean they're all 5, starting caliber, but you feel pretty good about those 5 on the roster. So I thought this was cool, though. Everywhere Isaiah Simmons has gone to play, they haven't let him just settle into one position. So now what you're going to get with Isaiah Simmons is he's going to be battling with Isaiah McDuffie and Tyron Hopper for that 3rd linebacker spot. I don't know about you, Tim, but I kind of like his chances. That's not to knock the other 2 guys, but he seems like he's really, really comfortable. He's really kind of at ease. We played the video. Matter of fact, I think we got the video right here, Tim. I don't think you've seen this one yet, sir. Let me hit you with this one real quick. So anyway, he looks like he's loose. He looks like he's just fitting right in with the Green Bay Packers. I don't know. How do you feel about it, Tim? I think it's awesome. He's going to get a chance to actually settle into one position.
So do I. And this is another guy, much like we talked about McCole Hardman, kind of middle of the career kind of path, right? Not getting older, but not an old dog quite yet. Some experience and a chance to kind of settle into a role and a chance to, win a spot on this team. My only concern is that a progress stopper for a guy like a, Tyron Hopper or something, like I don't see Zay McDuffie not making this team. I just don't see it happening. I think it would be between maybe Simmons and Hopper for that last spot. And then, the ladder goes to the practice squad or something, but I am looking forward to camp and just really getting a good look at him, up close and personal. But we know he's got a ton of value as a special teamer. Like that goes without saying. And then the experience factor. And then, his chance to kind of play into Jeff Hafley's system solely as a linebacker and not having to be a, slash multitasker kind of guy. Because we have enough of those. We've got guys that we talked about. Hell, we had Bo Melton out there playing DB. We've got guys that can be versatile in a pinch. It's nice to have a few where it's like, hey, here's your job. Put your head down and just go do what you need to do and focus on your position and your duties. So I'm excited for Isaiah Simmons. I would just hope he doesn't, ultimately end up being a progress stopper for some of these younger backers,
Yeah, definitely.
That's it. I think I'm hoping, Tim, that, he can bring in some of that veteran experience and just kind of teach him a little bit here and there. Pointers, him and Quay bounce ideas off each other, help Hopper, help Coop. I think it's going to be a team effort.
Yep.
Yeah. White 009 in the chat says, I think I saw somewhere that Half told him to focus on being the Will/Sam. So who's the Mike, Quay or Coop? So essentially what's going to happen here, White, is we're going to be in the nickel about 70% of the time, which means there's only going to be 2 stack backers. Okay, so probably 20 to 25% of the time, there'll be 3 backers on the field. When you're talking Mike, the Mike and the Will and the nickel is very interchangeable, especially within Hafley. Really, any defense I've seen across the league, it's very rare that they're like, okay, this guy's just going to strictly be the Mike. One common misconception is if someone wears a green dot, they're the Mike. Well, that means that they're the guy calling the plays in the huddle, right? That means they're getting the radio call from the coaching staff, yes. But that doesn't mean they're going to line up as the Mike every single time. Like typically the difference between the Mike and the Will and the nickel 4-2-5 that we run, which is 4 down linemen, 2 stack backers, is the Mike is technically on the strong side of the formation, okay, on the tight end side of the formation. So the Will is on the weak side. But there's going to be many cases where that Mike will fire and the Will cover the seam, whether it's a 2 mid read a 3-mid read, or if you're wanting to run a true Tampa 2 top look. And then vice versa. You want to fire the will and let the mock cover the seam. So they're very interchangeable in that regard. Now, when you get to the 4-3 aspect, where you've got a mock, a Sam, and a will, the mock being the middle linebacker, the Sam being the strong side backer, and the will being the weak side backer. Typically what you want to do there is you want to play, like an over front to the field side, and let the will kind of act as an extra pass rusher. If need be, he'll fit to set the edge off the weak side of the formation. And then you allow the Sam and the mock to be those gap destroyers on the strong side of the formation. So when I look at Isaiah Simmons, he's way more versatile, like in terms of his athletic ability. Now he's a little bit older now, but still, what is he, still 27? Am I thinking right, guys?
He'll be 27 this year, I think. I think he's 26 right now.
So if you were to ask me, 4-3 defense, where would you want Isaiah Simmons? Let's say Isaiah Simmons is the third backer. So you've got Coop, you've got Quay, and you've got Simmons. Me personally, I would want Coop as the Sam, Quay as the mock, and Simmons as the will. That way Simmons can use his versatility off the backside, off the weak side. And in my opinion, I feel like Edgerrin Cooper can handle setting the edge on the strong side of the formation against a run better than Quay. And with Quay being the mock, if you do have that Tampa 2 call and even that cover 6 mix that half ran last year, if he has to cover the seam, that's what Quay does well, is flipping his hips and covering the seam. Now, Cooper can do it too. We've seen it in Jacksonville. Right. But I just feel like what it comes down to is they both can cover the seam, but Cooper is way better at the point of attack and attacking the run, reading and recognizing the run, using that quick first step, that start, stop, shoot we talk about. That would be my setup. I want to ask you guys, how would you see the base 4-3 if Isaiah Simmons was the starting backer? Who would you want at mock, Sam, and Will? You go first, Emilio.
Yeah, I think Mike is still going to be Coop. Quay. I think that I'm totally with you on Cooper at Sam, and I honestly think they can kind of flip flop. I think Isaiah Simmons can do it. I think he probably could play a little bit of that Sam, and he also has the ability to cover, so that's why I do like him at that will spot. But I really think that with those three, we'd be in pretty decent shape, right? They've made an attempt. I think Ed set it up here. I think that was a great point. The Packers really changed how they value inside linebacker, a first, a second, a third, and Simmons. And to add to that, Greg Cosell always talks about the speedier defense comes from your backers, right? Being able to read, react, scrape, get sideline to sideline. That's where a lot of your speed comes from on defense. And he knew that he had an opportunity to come here. As the 8th overall pick, I feel like a guy wants to show up and improve and make a name for himself. Here's the spot to do it, right?
Definitely.
I just verified it too. Isaiah Simmons will turn 27 on July 26th. So right at the kickoff kind of camp, right? Yeah. So he'll be 27 this year.
Yeah. What do you think, Tim? Would you still want to see Quay playing the mock in the 4-3, or would you rather him maybe coming off the edge?
I like to mix it up, but I'm going to go with Emilio. I'd take Quay as my Mike. Edge Coop will be my Sam, and then I would take Simmons as my Will.
Yeah, and
interchangeably, of course, as we've talked about.
Mm-hmm. When you said
three of these guys can play in all three of these roles.
Right. And when you said mixing it up, it immediately made me think of like one scheme to the other. If you're playing your base 4-3 and you're going up against a 2-back set, then obviously 2 backs equals 2 gaps. You want someone who can shoot those gaps a little bit more in the run fit. Maybe you kick someone like Edgerrin Cooper to mock and let Quay play off the edge, and then, you know what I mean, kind of attack it that way. And it's where when I hear people who claim to be professional, Packer talk people, I guess you could say sports talk guys, and they just blanketly mention, this player getting blocked by a tight end, this player just getting blocked. And it's like, what was the play call? Who was the team you were facing? What was their strengths and weaknesses? Like there's all those things come into factor week in and week out. So, and I don't fully understand it. I don't have time to dive into the entire game plan of a team and do the 4-week saturation, the last 2 head-to-heads and all those things. We try to cover it as much as we can before game day. But when you just kind of, I don't know, blanketly speak about it, it irks me, as you can tell. So let's see what Ed Madden said. He said, I'm hoping Simmons can tighten up our pass coverage over the middle. If he was drafted in the third round, everyone would be saying great pick with the production he's had. I completely agree with that second part there too. I'm hoping, personally, I'm hoping that Tyron Hopper wins that third job, because that means that wasn't
taking a step, right? Yeah.
I don't want to say that if he doesn't get it, it's a wasted third round pick, but you want that third round pick to step in there. And then look at your backups. It's Isaiah McDuffie and Isaiah Simmons. You feel really good about that linebacker room, you know?
Yep.
I
feel really good about Tyron Hopper getting every single opportunity to win that spot as well. You know, right. They're going to push that, give him every chance to go ahead and make this team in that role, you know?
Yeah, and we've been talking versatility. We haven't even talked about Colin Oliver. Like, Colin Oliver might fit right into that. They may get into camp and they go, you know what? Colin Oliver's the third best stack backer, and he'll just bypass everyone. They also could get into camp and go, wow, this guy's got some serious bend and quickness off the edge. Let's let him rush as kind of that hybrid outside linebacker, like a Leo or a Viper, that type of look. So it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be – I'm telling you, this camp is going to be absolutely awesome. Coach Lynn says that he's a ball of clay. You can mold him into what you want him to do. I just would not trust Cincy to use him correctly. Shoot,